Hi, Aniruddha here. So today we are recording the session for the React app. As you see, we would be developing a React app for our existing, you can say, banking application. So we are developing the front end for our banking application. So for summarizing this, initially we have created a basic Node.js app. Into that Node.js app we have written few basic bank related operations. Then we added then we added a command line things to our banking application. Then we added database to our banking application, and then we have added a web express.js into our application. Now we can communicate with our application from the HTTP by means of express.js. Now CLI has already been developed. Now what we need to do, we need to create what you can say a classical front end, and that we will be building in the React, and that's why I'm recording this session. Well, this is the final episode of this banking application. We have learned a lot of things from this application. This is what final episode where we would be developing the front end. Let us see what things we need to do to work with this React app. Okay. Now, first is a React. What's a React? If you can see, a JavaScript library for building the user interfaces, right? It will help you to create the user interfaces. If you are from the web background, if you have worked with the HTML, CSS3, JavaScript or the jQuery, you can relate React with the jQuery. But the jQuery was a pretty native library, a raw level thing. React does few things internally, like DOM manipulation. React has its own strategy to build the UI. Now, we will not go in depth of React. What is a React exactly? As I told you in the beginning, in the very first episode of this series, we would be focusing on delivering the product, a business value. Outcome of this episodes would be a working application which would be creating a bank, which would be performing a bank operations typically, right? And we have reached to the last step of this application, that is the front end. We'll do that thing now. Okay. So first thing we need to do, we need to develop first React app. First we need to create the React app, and if you want to do that, you can fire this command npx executable modules. Npx executes the executable modules. Let us see. So I think created, this is the VS code I have. So right click, open the terminal at this folder, and then I can say npx create react app. This folder I have already cloned in the same thing, and I can say react front. We can develop the Angular front also. React front. And if you see this thing, okay, if you see this thing, create react app, npx, this is the command, create react app, one of the utility which is developed by the Facebook to build the boilerplate application or build the starting point application. My app, right? See now, let's go to your project. Yeah, so here we can say create react app. Here you can say npx create react app react front, or banking app front, we can say banking front app. Hit the enter. It will take few, more precisely 1 or 2 minutes to complete build the react app, right? And it will give us the basics of basic folder structure, setup related to the unit testing, and a lot of other things it will give us. But we won't be using all of that things. We would be restructuring as per our requirement. React app. So we have written API in the last episode, REST API in the last episode. If you want to know what do you mean by REST API, let me know in the comment box. I would be recording a separate session on the React app. Well, this is an independent terminology. It's not like that React app is only used in the NodeJs and the mern stack, right? It's not like that. React is a general term. Any programming language can follow the guideline and build the RESTful API, right? Sorry, I said React, but it's a REST. Now, this React application will consume the REST API. And how to do that we will see. There is something called as fetch API, and fetch API does that things. Okay, it is creating, final steps are remaining. Yeah, done. Happy hacking. If you see this thing now, if you go ls and can you see NodeJs banking app, banking front app. So cd banking front app and npm and start. Npm and what? Start. Well, if you see something like this, which means that your React setup is done and React application is working properly. Your React application is working what? Properly. So good, now we have created the React app. Let's type the code. Let's open that in the VS Code. Go here. I have just opened the Node.js folder, right? Go here, open the folder. I will open complete folder, upper folder on the desktop. This folder I will open, which would be having both banking app and both the Node.js app, right? So this is the React app. If you see, package.json is there. Inside package.json, few libraries are, few dependencies have mentioned. We are not going to discuss all of this right now, but presently we don't require the web vitals. I am removing it. Related to the search engine, this thing is there. And if you see a report webvital.js, just delete this file right now. Then index.js is needing, we are needing the index.js file. Just keep index.css also, we can keep, no problem. app.test.js, we don't do unit testing right now, let's delete it. This app.js also delete it. This app.css, sorry, let's delete this app.css also. Let's delete this index.css also, and let's keep only this much. Setup test, let's delete it. This is also not needed. Logo.svg, if you need, you can keep it. But see, very clean architecture is there now. Only few files are remaining. Only one file is remaining, index.js. Right inside that there is, just delete these things and just add like this. Okay, report web vitals, delete it, and just keep these two things. And if you go here and you can say h1, this thing is called as JSX. This is banking app. This is what? Banking app. And if you see here, just refresh it. Okay, report web vitals and other things. Let's clean it and see. this is working, right? This is a running application. So this is a banking app H1, and if you see, H1 is loading over here, right? H1 is loading over here. So I'm requesting you, team, if you want to get updates from this repository, just click on the star over here. Once you click on the star, right, once you click on the star, you will start getting the email notifications if any change is over here. Well, I'll push this much code. We can say banking app react setup, right? Yes, and push the code. I'm pushing the code. Yeah, done. Just refresh it. Here you will find banking front app. We can develop the application in the React. Also, we can develop the application in the Angular. Okay. Node part will remain same. There is no problem. Even in the Vue.js also. So we just got the index.js over here. And if you see, there is in the public folder, there is index.html, and here actually there is a root. div id is equals to root. Div id is equals to what? Root. Now see, whatever React component hierarchy, if you see document.getElement by id over here, document.getElement by id over here. So whatever hierarchy is there, React component hierarchy, all that component hierarchy would be getting added into this plain HTML5 div, right? React, remember that, helps you in simplify the things. If you develop same application in the HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript or the jQuery, you need to write at least a lot of lines of code, at least 2000 lines of code to do all these operations. But in the React, you can reuse the components and you can build the things properly, right? Let us see how. So along with the React, right, presently I'm not going to use any of the framework, external framework over here, right? CSS framework I'm talking about. We would be just working with the CSS3, plain CSS3. That's it. So when you talk about the React, remember that you are talking about the components. So here I can say, we can say new customer component, new customer, then withdraw, new folder, deposit, sorry, deposit, withdraw, transfer. So I would be creating components inside this: deposit, new customer, transfer, withdraw, right? And the balance, new folder, balance. See here. Well, we can use the Bootstrap also as a CSS framework, but let's focus on the core things. Okay. Now, first page we would be having, that page is nothing but what? Withdraw. That page would be having a dashboard, and to that dashboard there would be 4 buttons. We will keep very simple buttons, and later on we can add Bootstrap to it. To create the proper design, we can add Bootstrap to it, no problem. But for now, right, but for now, let's create what we can say a dashboard, new dashboard component. And one more thing I need to do, I need to set up the router. I need to set up what? Router. Router means what? / deposit. Deposit page should be getting loaded. Yeah, here. Just start the tutorial and first install the React router. Yeah, this guy, npm install React router DOM6. React router DOM6. Just install this. Okay, installed. Now here we can say new file, balance.js. So here we can say dashboard.js, new file deposit.js, new file new customer.js, transfer.js, withdraw.js, withdraw.js. So in the deposit, now see, whenever you say React component, anything, remember that which returns the JSX, we call it as anything that returns the JSX. What is the JSX? See, inside the JavaScript file, you are writing the HTML code. Can you see this? This is a JavaScript file, and inside that you are writing H1. That is also okay. H1, that is also okay, right? This thing is called as React fragment. To optimize the memory, React has given you something called as fragments. We'll discuss that later on. Our present intention is giving a primer to the wall. So if you have seen the painting, first we give the primer. So whole this project is nothing but what? The priming. What do you mean by priming? Just to show you how all the things work together, how database works together, how web works together, how front works together. That things needs to be demonstrated to you, and that is nothing but this part is. Okay, so dashboard, anything, any function with the capital letter name, any function with the capital letter name returns the JSX, we call it as returns the JSX, we call it as a component. Well, there are two types of component in the React: function components and the class-based components. We are not going to talk about class-based components because function-based components can fulfill your job, and these things are easy to understand. Okay, so in the same way, here I can say this is dashboard. Okay, same I will copy everywhere. Dashboard balance, this is balance. Deposit, this is deposit. New customer, this is new customer. Transfer, this is transfer, and this is withdraw. Withdraw, this is what? Withdraw. So we just created these things over here. Now after setting up the router, what we need to do? What we need to do? First we need to render each component. I want to map it to one route. Now just close all the things. It is very much easy to get confused over here. So first we need to render the router. You can see the browser router. So there are different routers given to you by this third-party library. Well, we need to import that things first. Can you see there is an import section? Just import routing related stuffs over here. Then inside the routes array, these things. Routes / if we can say, just close it. This also we don't need it. Instead of app, dashboard. Just import the dashboard. Import dashboard component, right? Now see, if our application is running and / application is not running, npm start. Now application is running. Can you see, if someone hits only / which will point to the dashboard component. See, path / load which component? Dashboard component that you have created over here, dashboard component. In the same fashion, if someone hits, what you can say, / new customer or create new customer, let's import that component first. Import from / new customer, and here we can say new customer. Here we can say new, just new, that's it, new customer. You can write anything over here as a path name. You can write absolutely anything, no problem. Then there is a route, new customer. Then deposit. Then we need to import the deposit component. Say from deposit, then withdraw, same withdraw component, withdraw component. Okay, then check balance component, or transfer, import the transfer first. Import transfer from transfer, then check balance, import balance. So we already have created all these components, remember that. balance /balance balance. Okay, now if you go to the browser and if you can see /balance, can you see this is loading the balance component. If you see withdraw, it is loading the withdraw component. Then deposit, it is loading the deposit component. Getting that? It is loading withdraw. So what is a routing? Mapping URLs or the segments, path segments to the element is the routing. Mapping path segments to the elements or to the components is the mapping, is the routing. Sorry, mapping of path segments to the components is routing. Just refresh, refactor it, right? So you have made something called as router setup. So here are your components. What is a component? Presently you can understand definition as a React component or React function which is returning the JSX. We call it as component. What we call it as? A React function. It's a normal JavaScript function, nothing fancy. Just this thing is new over here, JSX, and this support to this thing is coming from package.json. Well, internally it's a JavaScript only, but just to ease of your understanding, these people have written some fancy code. We call it as JavaScript, JSX, JavaScript extensions. Inside the JS you write the markup. Inside the JS you write the HTML code straight away, JSX. So in a balance folder you created balance.js, right? In the deposit folder, in the dashboard folder you created dashboard.js, and all that thing you just have mapped. If someone hits /, this component would be getting loaded. If someone loads /new, this component would be getting loaded. If someone loads /deposit, this component would be getting loaded, like this, right? Now we will go on adding the functionality. First we will add the functionality to this guy. Okay, for this we can have write the CSS dashboard dot module dot CSS. We are going to use something called as CSS modules. We are going to use something called as CSS modules. To avoid the conflicts, we would be using something called as CSS module. See, you will create the file name in this way. A dashboard.module is important over here, and then you can say import. Sorry, this is a CSS. In the JS, if you want to import that CSS, you can say import styles from dashboard module dot CSS. Import styles from dashboard in the current directory. Dot represents the current directory. There is one file called as dashboard.module.css. Imports the styles from there. Now presently we will not use any style, but what I wanted to do, we would be having 4 buttons. That is, you can say First, let's have a page division. And we can say input type is equals to button. Input type is equals to button. Value is equals to create new customer. Go here, only forward slash will point to the dashboard. Can you see create new customer? Then one more div should be there. Then withdraw or say deposit, another button. Withdraw, transfer, transfer, and the balance. Okay, see now there are 4 buttons: create new customer, deposit, withdraw, transfer, balance, right? And let's add a parent container div, and the div like this. We can say class name dash cont dash container. Now we can go to the CSS and we can say dot dash cont display grid. Class name you can say something like this also, styles dot dash cont. Well, styles are not getting applied. Dash cont, okay, dashboard, dashboard, import styles. Dashboard.module.css, okay, dashboard.module.css. And the styles dash cont, just inspect it, console, sorry, elements, body div, yeah, can you see? Well, this is working, display grid is working, class has been added, dashboard dash cont dot something like this, that is working. Now CSS3 display grid, display grid, CSS3 display grid, rows and columns. We'll discuss that just a minute. Now let's go here, gap is 10 pixel, grid template columns, repeat 1 FR. Yeah, see 3 columns are there. We can have 2 columns also. Instead of 3 we can say 2 columns also. Yeah, 2 columns. And just we can say here instead of button, just say we have a text like this here, deposit. Designing takes time, but I am keeping design very low. We can develop fantastic UI. Whatever you imagine, we can develop that UI over here. Just don't worry about that. But this project is not meant for that. The project is meant for understanding of the things. Okay, deposit. So let's take a grid at the center, justify content center, and align items center. One thing we need to do, we have index over here, just create index.css, and to the body, to the HTML, body width 100 VW, height 100 VH, viewport height, viewport width, and you need to import this guy in the import /, index.css. Okay, and here dash cont width 100%. Okay, just write a border to understand better, 1px solid red. Justify content center, grid row min max, so minimum 100 px is a width other than auto. Okay, now we can say dot dash cont, inside that whatever divs are there, height would be 200 pixel and background color antique white. Yeah, see, so these are the grid items you have. These are what grid items you have, full width grid items you have, deposit center and like this. Now what I wanted to do, inside that each of the div would be having, see I am using pseudo selectors, every div would be a flex box, and justify content center and align items center. If you see, everything will come at center. Can you see that? And if you want to give some border, we can give some border 1px solid black or solid gray, Greensboro, right? A gray background, and this red one will remove. Okay, presently this guy is looking very bad, but no problem. No problem. Now we need to apply font size to EM. Create new customer, deposit, withdraw, balance, and the transfer. And what? Transfer to EM. Element, it would be getting width and height as per the element. Just a minute. Okay, so create new customer, deposit, and like that. CSS 3 colors, you can say. Okay, just say light gray, light gray, okay, to the border, not to the border, light gray. Okay, and whenever I am going to hover, see now, dot dash cont, inside that div colon hover. Whenever I am going to hover, the background color should be Dodger blue. Can you see? After hover, background color should be Dodger blue, right? And the color means foreground color would be white. See, can you see simple thing you have built over here? Now, when the moment you click on the create new customer, it should take you to the next page. That's a new page. If you click on the deposit, it should take you to the deposit page. Well, you can write, you can say one div over here and say navbar. Right, can you see here a little navbar is there, a little navbar is there, you can see. Or you can create a separate component, new folder, nav, we can say new navbar .js. Well, you can do like this, that's what I am saying, but I am not creating that. UI wise we can do it later on, but intention of this is to show you how exactly things are working. Okay, so dash cont can have some margin from all four sides, say 16 pixels of the margin is there, from all four sides. Margin 16, 16, 16, 16. Well, why margin is not coming from the top? Actually it is coming, but because of the scroll bars, can you see there are some vertical and horizontal scroll bars? That's why you cannot see the margin. Okay, to do that thing, instead of this we can say 97 VH to avoid the bars like this. Okay, so if you don't want max height to be auto, you can say 200 pixels. Well, a lot of variations we can do. Okay, template columns 1FR. Okay, so min max. Here you are saying minimum 100 pixels should be row height, and this would be minimum, or you can say maximum automatically would be getting decided. So here 2 columns needs to be there, and 1FR. Instead of 1FR we can say 200 pixels. Yeah, can you see now? At the center you can see 200 pixels, right? Instead of 200 you can say 300 pixels, like this. At the center you can see then. Okay, now from all four sides it should be 16px. That's it. So instead of create a new customer on the dashboard, just say new customer. Technically this should be one word only. We have 2 words over here, new word, deposit, and like that. Now if I click on the new customer, it should take me to that particular page, which is nothing but what this page, new customer.js. Now here we would be having the form. Well, for that also we can use some CSS, some third-party libraries, but let's not use that. So if you want to create the new customer, input type is equals to number, and value, or say placeholder, account ID. We can say account ID. Okay, so we can have one div, go on adding the divs, and inside the divs these elements should be there. Account ID, account name, and balance, initial balance. Just reformat the code. Okay, so it will land on this page. It will land on this page. Remember that a React component can return one and only one, what you can say, element, and that's why you need to wrap it in a container. And here we can say h1, and we can say create new account or create new customer. Input type number. Here type text, and here number. Now if you can say /new, can you see create new customer, and like this the form has been created. Now I should navigate, when I click on this thing, it should navigate to that page. How to do that? Well, I know this thing, that's why I'm writing it, but it's very good to see the documentation. Import use navigate is the function, and on the click of this, right, we can write a function. Const to dashboard or to new customer, navigate to new customer, and here you can say use navigate, and whatever URL you have given over there, you can say /customer. On click, new. In the index.js, /new will load the new customer. So here /new, and then you can say to new customer. Okay, so got it what they are saying. Say use navigate straight away. Use navigate itself is a function, remember that. Something I'm missing. Some part I'm missing, just a minute. Okay, got it. So const navigate is equals to use navigate, and here you can say navigate to /new customer. See now, back, if you click over here, you will go to the navigate. Now see, React Router DOM is having all that functionalities which are needed for the routing. We discussed what do you mean by routing. The moment you say routing, remember that mapping of one component to the other component, that is nothing but what routing is. Mapping of one component to the other component, that is nothing but what mapping is. Hello? Yeah. So this thing is working. Same thing, deposit. Let's create the deposit screen. Let's create the deposit screen. To the deposit also we can create the JS deposit dot module dot css, deposit dot module dot css. Close everything. Still form submission is pending, remember that. Now there would be one button, just a minute. In the new customer, we didn't take submit button over here. Input type submit, and here we can say value is equals to create. Yeah, value is equals to what? Create new customer. Now I want to take it at the center, right? So to this form guy, we can have a display, or let's have this div, and that div would be having a display flex, right? Let us see now. Let's complete this file first. New customer dot module dot css. We can say dot cust cont, cont means container, display flex, flex direction is a column, right? Justify content center and align items center. Well, all these are the css 3 terms. Class name I can say that is a dot cust cont. Well, you can import that thing also. Import styles from in the current directory, new customer dot module dot css, and then we can say just access the JavaScript in the JSX by means of this styles dot cust cont, styles dot cust cont. Can you see it came at the center? Now if you want to increase dot cust cont, you can say inside that there is a, well, technically this div is not important because we have added it into the flex box. Reformat the code. What's happening? Yeah, input type. Okay, all the inputs over here. We can say width 20%. Let's give width as 100% to this. Okay, it came in one line. We don't need in a one line, so you need to do something like this dot cust cont. Inside that there is a form and display flex and flex direction column, right? Flex direction and what? Column. We can say font size 2 em, border 1px solid red, cust cont input input type is equals to anything. Type is equals to text. Then let me add the border 1px Okay, CSS selectors are not working. Okay, just a minute. Instead of 20% we can say 100%, and font size to em. Okay, font size to em is equals to text and input type is equals to number. Okay, or we can select any input type, no problem. If you want to select any input type, just say input type like this. And we can say margin top 8 pixels. Yeah, account ID, account name, and the balance. Account ID, account name, and what? Balance. And the moment you click on the create, can you see form is getting submitted? So we created the form, we added the things over here. Now there is one event called as on submit, and here we can say const on create on new customer is equals to this function. And here we can say just refer the function over here. First, if you see a page is getting refreshed, if I click on the create, I need to stop that. First, e dot prevent default, just prevent the default behavior of that particular event. See, it is not doing, it is not reading. Now what I need to do, I need to read the form data. I need to read what? Form data. So here, if you see, there should be one name attribute we can assign. We can say ACID. Name we can say ACNM. Here we can say name. Balance. That's it. AC name what? Balance. Now whenever you submit the form, console.log, we can say e dot e dot, just go here, console.log e dot, this event dot, here we can say target, event dot target, and see what happens. Just open the inspector, inspect console, and you can see the form attribute, a complete form over here. Receive the true for the non-boolean attribute name. Okay, now if you can see, const AC ID is equals to e dot target dot, we can say AC ID dot value, const AC NM is equals to e dot target dot AC NM dot value, and e dot balance is equals to balance dot value, and here we can say ID, AC ID, name AC NM, balance inspect it, console, just refresh it, create, can you see ID, name, balance, nothing, just add something, name like this, and create. Can you see ID is 234, name is SFSG, balance is 245. Well, there are a lot of other ways to read the form as well. There are a lot of other ways to do this thing also. We will see in some next projects how this can be done properly. Now I'm creating the form. Now what I need to do, on the click of the create, so here I am getting the values, now from here I need to call a NodeJs application. I need to call what? This NodeJs application, this one, right? So this app is running. Just create new window, just create new window inside here, new terminal, add this folder, and you can say cd NodeJs banking app and npm, or we can say node web.js. It is running on 3000, right? So this thing is very important over here. So fetch call, there is one of the function in the JavaScript called as fetch. Over here we can say http colon localhost colon 3000. Okay, now there is a port mismatch, remember that. Your backend is also running on the same port and your front end is also running on the same port. Let's say 3100. Backend is running on 3100. Backend is running on 3100. Just do it again. Application is running on 3100 and React app is running also on the 3000. Just run it again. Yeah, 3000. Okay, now this is okay. Your NodeJs app is running on 3100, this one, and React app is running on 3000. So there are the there were the port conflicts that we have removed. Okay, now fetch okay. Now here we can say new customer.js, and from here I am going to call the web API. Localhost 3100, URL is new or create. I think create is the URL, and there should be a object, right? There should be a object. Inside that we can write a method. Which method? Post method. Headers, see, we can pass the headers also. Accept, we can say application. Accept means what type of data from the server you are going to accept. From the server you are going to accept data is of type application JSON. What type of content type, what type of content you are sending to server? Content type, you can say application JSON. And see, every request would be having method, header and body, and body should be in the format of json.stringify, in the string format. So this needs to be an object. This needs to be an object. ACID, ACNM, and the balance. And what? Balance. ACID, ACNM, and balance. So this is a fetch call. Then you can say then response is nothing but what? Here you are going to get a response.json. Whatever response server is sending you, that here JSON, and here I can say console.log JSON. Okay, so whenever you click on the submit button, data would be getting read from here and try to push it on the server. Okay, let's try to do it now. So 201 is account ID, account name, this one balance 344. Open the console, right? Just click on the create, and there is an error, right? There is a what? Error. 3100 create is there, and if you see, it is failed. Now if you go to the Postman, first go to VS Code, front app, web.js / create, and this thing. And if you see here, this thing says that so this thing says that I am not going to allow you to access. The reason behind this is that in the Node app we need to make some changes. So let me tell you what is happening. Can you see here? So this is saying that I am running at another domain and you are trying to access it from another domain. That's why I'm not going to allow you to access it. That's why I'm not going to allow you to access it. See, so your JavaScript application, that is NodeJs application backend, is running on the 3100. right? Backend is running on 3100 and frontend is running on the 3000. So these two are the different origins. So Node.js says that you are running the applications on the different origins. So origin of the client and origin of the server are different. And for the security purpose, I am not going to allow you to do this thing. Now, if you want to resolve this error in the Node.js, you need to do one thing, and that is nothing but install the CORS package. Now go here, just stop the application, install one package, okay, this package has to be installed, and in the first you need to require import that package, const CORS is equals to require is equals to require this CORS, and you need to attach middleware at the app level, app.use CORS, app.use what CORS. See, remember the error. Now error would be getting resolved once we run this project. Node web.js, and go here again, and see now create. Can you see success is there? So this message is coming from the server, new customer created successfully. Go in the database and just check this entry is there or not. In the DB, just check that entry is there or not. Yeah, PSQL/u, right, then /c, what's the DB? Bank DB. Select star from account. Can you see 210 VBTT 344? That entry you have made from here. Let's do it again. Right, account ID, just remember 222, account name, AN, this thing, balance, this thing, refresh it, create it. Can you see you got the success? Even if you can see the in the network tab here, create, this is a 200, and in the response you got the success from the server. You go in the DB and check the entry. Can you see? Select star from account 222 ANVC. So this is the latest entry that we have made. Means from the React app, see what we have done. From the React app, you have entered the data to the database by means of the REST API. So in the web, you created the endpoints. In the web, you created what? The endpoints using the Express.js, REST endpoints using the Express.js. And then that endpoints you accessed in the React. Getting that? Now in the same fashion, remaining functionalities like new customer we have done, withdraw, deposit, and the balance we need to do. Okay, so let's work with the deposit.js. This is the deposit.js. Same thing, we would be needing a same form like this. So we can copy this in the deposit.js. A same form we would be needing. Class name, deposit container, depcont, a deposit amount, right? And on, we can say deposit, on deposit. Now here inside this account ID, I want to deposit this much amount, okay, and here we can say deposit. In the same fashion of create new customer, we need some CSS. So this CSS I can copy. We can say dep cont, here also dep cont, like this, and here import styles from dot forward slash deposit dot forward slash deposit dot module dot css, and here we can say const on deposit like this. Just go back and deposit. Well, to the deposit we didn't write it in the dashboard. Go in the dashboard. In the same fashion you have, well, I already said there is a lot of scope to the optimization deposit. Can you see amount deposit, account ID and the amount. Now we need to write same put call. So here we can say e and e dot prevent default e dot. See, this code is repeated. We can stop rewriting this code, right? Here we can say account ID and the amount we would be needing. Account ID, and you can say amount, account ID and amount ID, amount, this thing, and on submit we have. So same fetch call we need to make to the deposit. Here you need to have a put call, remember that. Then stringify account ID and amount, right, and console.log JSON. Let us see the deposit is working or not. So how many records we have in the DB? Let's try to deposit 1 rupee in this account VBTT. It should be 3445. Account ID is what? 210 and 1 rupee. Make sure that you will keep this open, right, and try to deposit. Success amount 1 deposited successfully. Then you can say select star from, see here 15 should be added. Can you see that? What is happening? 3441 210 3441. So which means that whatever data you are passing here, 3445 should be amount, but 3441 is there, which means that a node application is not considering all these things should be this in the string form. So here in the deposit, right, so this account ID is considered, sorry, this amount is considered as string, but here balance, and this amount is considered as string, remember that. So here you can say parse float, right, balance plus this thing, parse float. Then same thing you need to do it for deposit also, this amount, parse float, this thing. Do it again, deposit 2101. Now here 344412 should be the thing. Yeah, can you see 344412, 344412, and that is happening. 344412, that is working over here. So you need to make a little changes like this also. So deposit is working. Now here you can see withdraw. On click, withdraw. So whatever you have done in the deposit, same thing you need to do in the withdraw. So here we can say new file, withdraw.module.css, withdraw.module.css. So all these things I will copy as it is. Dep wth withdraw wth and deposit. So first let me import the CSS styles from withdraw. This would be as it is in the withdraw. Reformat the document, wth cont. Okay, withdraw amount balance and withdraw. Easy, right? Then here on withdraw, everything should be there. e.prevent default account id amount instead of deposit, withdraw, put call, rest of the things are same, there is no change. See, if their things are same, why do you need to write it again and again? That's the first question you should get in mind. Okay, now click on the withdraw account id. Let's check in the DB. Can you see this? Let's make this account as 210 and withdraw how much amount? You can withdraw 34442, 34442 withdraw. Can you see withdrawn the amount? Now let's fire the select query and can you see 210 0 rupees are there, right? Means what? Withdraw is also working. Means what? Withdraw is also working. Now next is the transfer. Withdraw, new customer, transfer. Now to the transfer we need to add form would be same, new file, we can say transfer dot module dot css. Likewise, in the withdraw module we have, there is a no change, only one field would be getting added, trans, trn. Here also trn. Okay, trn. Transfer.js, withdraw.js, transfer.js. Just import the styles. Import the styles, transfer. Import the style, transfer dot module dot cs, styles dot trn dot transfer, transfer amount. So here source id, source id, destination id, src id, dest id. Dest or what exactly? Check in the backend app. For the transfer, src id, dst id and the amount. src id, dst id and the amount. dst id and the amount. And here we can say transfer, and here on transfer, on transfer. Just reformat the document. Just reformat the document. Const on transfer is equals to so this code src id, src id, here dest id, and amount dot value. So here we can say src id, dest id and the amount. So here transfer, right? Rest of the things are same. See, once you made the architecture, nothing is difficult. So transfer, we can say withdraw, and here I can say transfer. Okay, now in the transfer, yeah, here src id, or we can say source, destination, dest id. Yeah, go back and click on the transfer. Now see, let's go to the DB. So to the 210, let's pass this 97 rupees. So 12 becomes 0 and 210 would become 97. So source ID we can say 12, destination ID 210, amount 97, and the transfer. Right? Can you see success is coming? Let's go here and see things are working or not. Yeah. To the 210, 97 rupees are there, to the 12 0 rupees are there. That's what we have done, to the 12 to the 97, right? So we got the transfer also. Now next part is there, balance inquiry. From the dashboard, just copy this, navigate, we can say balance, navigate what? Balance. And in the balance, we won't be needing much code. We would be just needing one thing, one input box and one submit, account ID and balance. And here deposit amount, here we need to add the balance. Presently balance is 0, so const. Now here we need to use the state variable. Remember that we need to use what? State variable over here. So import state is nothing but what? Remembering the data in between the multiple re-renders. Use state from the React. So here we can say val set val is equals to use state, and initially value of the balance is 0, and that's why this val becomes 0, this 0. Now one more thing, styles dot val cont, styles dot val cont balance dot module dot css, a new file, balance dot module dot css. So the things we have in this, same things we would be needing. Presently I am not willing to work on optimization work. Val over here. Val over here, and then you can say import styles from balance dot module dot css, and here you can say the val cont, and here on deposit is not the function, correct? So here on balance is a get call, remember that. Const on balance is equals to e, it's a get call, remember that. Even I have not used async and await over here, just to avoid your confusion. Lot of things are new. ID, and here there is no amount, and we don't require this object now. Just you can say / balance, then convert it, and instead of printing this we can say set the state, set val is json.val, set val and what? json.val. Go to the balance, styles not defined, import styles from balance module.css. Balance import styles val cont styles account ID 210 balance / balance is not found. So what's the URL? in the backend app, what's the URL? Yeah, balance colon ID. Can you see? You need to pass ID. You need to attach the ID over here. We can say $ACID, $ACID. And can you see 97 over here? Balance would be what? 97. If you say 1, balance is 12. Getting that? And I can say INR over here. Amount here, balance, we can, instead of deposit, this is not a deposit, balance is INR, this thing. Can you see? So your application, now see, ID is 1, balance is 12. Just go to the DB and confirm ID is 1, balance is 12. So here you built the React app. That React app is communicating with the backend. A lot of things from the React app I have used, like use state and other things, right? So I discussed what do you mean by state. If you want to remember a data, during the re-renders of the application, you need to use the state. Well, there is a theory behind all these things, right? As this is a first project, it's a primer. We just have completed the things. From the next project, I am going to cover everything in depth, right? Well, I would also be creating course on these things. If you want me to develop the course, please write it in the comment box and please let me know you're interested. So you created the React app, you created the backend. See, this is the incomplete app. Can you see now? I click on the balance and still it remains over here. It should be cleaned automatically. That should be cleaned actually automatically, but that's not happening. We can write the code for that. Well, I'm requesting you to send me the pull requests to improvise this front end code and the backend code in the terms of validation. If everything is okay, I will accept the pull request, right? And I'm requesting you to modify this code. Okay, so structure I have built. Now you need to complete the code. You can add CSS frameworks. A lot of things are there. You can do validations and other things, and you can build a complete concrete application. Well, this is 80% application we have built. Okay, but a lot of things are new over here. Once you get familiar with all of these things, you will also implement rest of the things. But we developed the front application, we developed the Express.js web app, we developed the database application, we developed the command line application. So 4 things we have developed. This is all about what you can say React app, and this is all about this 4-step project. We'll meet with the new project and the new idea. Thanks for watching all of this, and most important, thanks for subscribing the channel. So if you want to have a content like this, please let me know. And remember that coding is not a difficult. Lot of things newly added, we have added over here, and that things are communicating with all the pieces. Thank you. It was nice working with you. Thank you.